We're at the Festival of Media Global 2018 with Tia Castagno. How can we apply mindfulness practices in the workplace, and when are these techniques effective?
So there's a simple answer to this and a long answer. So I start with the long answer, which is mindfulness is a state of mind, really. It's something that we want to adopt as a way of being, so that everything we do, we are very mindful, and we do it with a lot of attention and concentration, so that we stop stress from arising. So what I was mentioning earlier is when we are victims of our train of thought, that we completely lose touch with ourselves and presence. So if we do everything with applied mindfulness and concentration, it immediately has an impact on making us feel better. So there is a Zen proverb, for instance, that says, do one thing at a time, do it very slowly, and put all your thoughts in it. We start getting stressed when we are doing something, but we're thinking about something else, and we are also doing something else on here, and thinking about the big presentation, and what we're going to prepare for dinner when we get home to the children, and what are we going to do in a week's time when that big meeting comes up. That is overwhelming for the mind. If we take one thing at a time, it is actually much more manageable, and we can't really feel stressed if we just focus on that present moment and on the right here, right now. Now, that of course takes practice and some months for people to be able to develop that way of approaching the workplace and also their personal lives. So very small tricks on how, mindfulness at work, as I presented on stage, very simple exercises of focusing on the breath and following the breath as it goes in all the way to the belly and then out, is a very simple practice to immediately feel less stressed, calmer, and much more able to deal with any situation that arises. Taking 2 minutes, 5 minutes to go to the bathroom before a big meeting, or when you've just had a big argument with someone, or you know that a confrontation is going to arise, and just do the finger breathing that we did in the room that, as I mentioned, I teach to children. So it's very simple and effective. Just bring in the mind focus in the right here, right now, and just focusing on the count and on the action that you're doing with concentration. You can do it for 2 minutes, 5, 10, and anywhere. You can even do it under your desk. It doesn't have to be done in a certain context, or you don't have to take yourself anywhere. You can do it right there and in any moment that you need it. So I feel that mindfulness can be included very easily in our workday if we just don't see it as something that is so estranged to us, and that we need a special setting to do and a special music and special cushion to sit on. You can just do it anytime, starting with very simple practices.
Does smart working actually help to manage stress at work? Or do you think that managing work without a fixed place to work may be harder?
I think it depends on harder for whom. Are we talking about the company? Are we talking about the person? If we're talking about the person, I think that the answer is there is no fixed answer. I am someone that likes to work where I want and when I want and however I want, and I am much more productive in that way. I come up with better ideas. I don't like to be tied to my desk. I don't like the office space. Whether it's a nice office space or not, it really, I don't like to be confined within that space and be sitting. I'm much more productive and also happier sitting in a nice cafe, or finding a space sitting on my terrace, or finding a space that works for me. But that's me. And there might be someone that actually feels much better to have a structured day when they go in the morning at the office, sit there and take themselves away from family, from any other distraction, and work much better in that way. And I'm not saying that my way is better. What I say is that people must have that freedom. So smart working doesn't mean that it needs to be done in a particular way. It means that it needs to fit around the life of the individual, and also in the way that really leverages the way that that individual works better. So what we're trying to achieve is maximizing people's potential. If my potential is maximized by me working in a cafe, and someone else's potential is maximized by them working at their desk or their home on their terrace, that needs to be the target, rather than forcing people one way or the other. So we need to give people freedom to choose by themselves, and we need to give trust for people to be able to make those choices for themselves rather than constraining them. And of course that needs to be mutual. So the moment you see that that trust is not replicated, you can take an action that responds to that. If you feel that you can't trust a person working away from the office because you don't know if they're working or not. But really, if someone doesn't want to work, they also don't work at that desk. They're just going to sit there on social media or anything else. So I think it's irrelevant where people sit, and we simply must look at what works best for the individual.
Thank you so much.